All right, this is your market recap for September 25th, 2025. As you can see today, we played bearish once again. However, on New York session, at least we played, well, kind of even, but we played more so, I'd say, on the bullish side. Uh, Reason for that is simply because New York session was down here, right? And so if we are holding to that daily, you know, daily time frame, playing bearish, we have this bullish fair value gap right there. And like I said, if we are going to continue playing bullish, this right here has to get respected, meaning today's price has to come all the way back up and close in there. So I was bullish today. Um, Unfortunately, there was no entries bullish. I tried to play the London close short, but I wouldn't say a misjudgment. It's just I rarely rarely trade that time. I'm usually more the 950 to 1010 macro, and if that doesn't exist, boom, I'm out type. Um, so definitely a learning experience today. So um, here's that daily fair value up low that I was talking about. We can see here, market opened here yesterday, and then we went up here. Nice retrace, perfectly coming to the high of this hourly fair value up there. Started to tip over, whatnot. So here we are, market open right here. Now, would I have been completely okay with tapping this daily fair value up low and playing bullish? Absolutely. But that's not what price wanted. Price wanted to come lower, right? And so if we think about this low, and on the daily time frame, well, this is the 4 hour, but it's actually the exact same wick. If we go up to the daily time frame, it's the same wick, maybe give or take a couple pips. But this is the daily wick, right? If we look at that, go down to the hourly, right? We have it graded, right? So we have 75%, 50, and 25. Price doesn't even come down to reach that. So with that in mind, there's no fair value gaps, right? No direct fair value gaps in this move or on the 4 hour that we can play. So what do we look for? Right, and my eyes drew to this. Right, we have this fair value gap right here. Price broke down, left this gap, came up, closed, reacted off of it, bearish, right? And we closed down here, validating this gap, and then we came up in one solid move, closed above it, and never came back to touch it. Now, does that mean it is 100% going to touch it? No. But it is either going to stop at this or that daily sell side wick conjugate encroachment. So I marked them both, and I was okay with it moving on both of them. So it hit this perfect closure at equilibrium, or sorry, conjugate encroachment of this fair value gap. And then we played bullish, closing above this fair value gap right here, and then coming all the way back down. I'll blame that on lunch, and also because, well, the markets are just. It would be a very big move, I'll say, if we did all this move down, right? Because that's what almost what if we count from shit here, um, 370 handles. Now, this would be an absolutely huge day, maybe not on the daily candle, but it would be huge if we came all the way back up, right? We're looking at 700, 750 handles of movement during the day, which is a crazy high amount. And we simply don't have the volatility for that. So we instead took up an intermediate high right there and then retraced, creating, you'll see on the lower time frame, a really big SMT of these highs, which for tomorrow is making me want to play bullish. And then once we hit this again and came back off of it, we kind of ended the day. Again, here, market open, came down, hourly fair value gap respected, not on the 50-minute, but you can see where it closed here on the hourly time frame. And then we shot up from there. This was a little too fast to be able to catch anything, in my opinion, with my model. There was no SMT, so couldn't do anything, even though it's what I expected it to do. Sometimes you just got to sit. This right here is equilibrium of this big bearish move here. That was my target. We hit that. Kept going. This is where I took my short. We took out this high, and you can't really tell here, but price dies down like the volume. So I was going here to play this macro's bearish move to try to come back to this actually, um, that breaker right there. But as you can see, I didn't quite get the timing right, and I'm going to blame that on just my lack of experience with that, trading at that time. Um, and then we came back to this 15-minute, rallied one more time. Again, intermediate high right there, taken out barely, which is another signal that we're going to retrace. We do that all the way back down to constant encroachment of this hourly, and then we come up off of that and then kind of end the day going horizontal right there. 5-minute doesn't show entirely too much. One thing I will have to say though is here again, market open, expansion downwards, 5-minute for value gap right there. Entered it, reacted, closed bearish, validated, right? So we expand that, we come up, blast through it here, close above it. Now you say, does this really touch it? Look at the high of this, right? 1625. The low of this candle is 1575. So it just tapped into this the 5-minute. Now, is this something that I trade off of? Absolutely not, because my stop would have to be all the way down there. And it's a little too big for me. So then from there, again, this was my target, and then as well as this high, we hit that. You can see price, the volume dies, and so this is what I was looking for a retrace at. We swept the high. We're rounding. I was expecting us to go down from there and hit that retrace. I guess I actually took it closer to over here because I think this was an SMT. Yeah. So this is an SMT. I was trying to play this short. It ended up working, but I think I took it in this candle with this SMT when it came above that high, which obviously wasn't right. So, and that's really just a timing thing. I mean, we did retrace, but this would have been the bigger retrace. And I'll say it now. The reason that we didn't retrace during AM session is because the bullish move didn't start until 10, right? Now, if we shot down and then played bullish, say from maybe 936, 100% we'd retrace at 11. 100%. Okay, maybe not 100%, but more likely than not. If it's in the cards and it's showing, it's going to happen. But since we started to move so late, we're going to retrace late. That's kind of just what I've experienced. So we came up, took out this intermediate high, and then took our time coming down, but we did come down. And then from there, again, macro, as well as up here, took us back up. 1-minute time frame, you'll see all the SMTs I was talking about, or lack thereof. Market open, came down, up, down here. Small SMT there, got taken, so couldn't do anything with that. Yeah, very clean price action this morning. And then we come up, take out this high, and go horizontal. I took my trade off of this inverse fair value gap right here. I liked this SMT. I liked this displacing and ignoring this fair value gap right there, and then turning it into an inverse. But then price wanted one more, and it got one more. Now, if I just entered, let's see, well, this is a fair value up there. Let's say I entered there, stop up here, profits there. It's a 139. It's a 1 to 2, so it's not huge, but it wouldn't have been a loss. Mind you, I didn't lose a lot because as soon as price closed here after reacting here, I moved my stop pretty significantly. But this macro here started this bullish move. We took out this high, deep retrace. Why? Because we barely took out this high. SMT there, playing this one last bullish move before, boom, take out this high, lose all volume, get this lower time from SMT. You might ask yourself, oh, you had this SMT. Well, technically, you had this SMT. Well, let's undo that. You technically had this SMT as soon as this candle broke this high. Why wouldn't you take it on that change in the state of delivery? Mind you, my 15-second chart was kind of broken when I was trying to look at it again. But the reason is look at the time. It's 11:45. All right, what's close to 11:45? The macro. Surprise, surprise. What's this big candle? 11:50. take that change in the state of delivery. I'm just guessing it's here because again, my 15-second chart was broken in hindsight. So take this. Unfortunately, well, if your break even was below a 1 to 9 point or 1 to 1.95, you would have been golden. So let's say you held it the whole way, and for some weird reason, you knew it would come like all the way down here. We'll say this low. That's a 1 to 20. And it's actually not a pretty long wait. It just takes a while to get going, but once it gets going, it's going. So not a bad trade, but in the sense of realisticity, in the sense of being realistic, I'm just going to slap it there, which is still great. A 1 to 10 I will take any day. But again, that's because of this SMT up here with this shallow sweep of liquidity shallowing out in the macro. Well, and then there's this fair value gap right there to keep in mind. So from there, price comes down. This is the higher time from SMT I was talking about between NQ and ES. This SMT is most likely going to fuel my desire to play bullish tomorrow. Another macro down there causes that reversal. Again, too fast, no lower time from SMT for anyone to take the trade off of, or at least for me to take the trade off of. And then we kind of just come back into the range and go horizontal. So now going into the future, look in the weekly time frame. We got this big old wick here on both sides. Fortunately, I do not think that we are going to be having a TGIF retrace. Now, what does that mean? That means that price is going to just do whatever the heck it wants. And right now, with an SMT of these lows, I think it wants to play bullish. If we go on the 15-minute, we've got boom to boom. Equilibrium is within this 15-minute fair value gap. So price could come all the way down here tonight, react off this, play bullish. That's what I'm looking for. Between now and tomorrow morning, that's what I'm looking for. And wherever we are in that realm depends on what to play. If we, for example, we're here, let's say market opened right now, boom, I'm playing short. We've got this drawdown, we're trending downwards. But if we open down here at equilibrium, I'll wait for some sort of sell side SMT, and then boom, I'm taking this long, targeting these highs, at least, maybe this one. So that's just what I'm looking for tomorrow. Who knows what's actually going to happen this week? It's been a little wacky, in my opinion. Haven't felt too comfortable. I've taken, what, 2 trades? Yeah, I think I took 2 trades this week. Both of them were losses, but they were smaller losses because I moved my stop because I really just didn't like what I was seeing in price action. But to be fair, this week has put me in a blender. Shorts at all-time highs. Price action I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, I'm just making all the excuses, but good learning experience puts me back in the learning shoes. I was a little full of myself after how I've been trading. So it's good to mix it up, put me back in my place. So this has been a market recap for September 25th, 2025.